With us, this is Politics Tonight, where we dig beyond the headlines. And I've been speaking with the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, as we focus on the Labour and federal government's impasse of the petrol subsidy removal. Your Excellency, let's move on with Fayose. I do apologize, Your Excellency. All right, so organized Labour said the protest is in the best interest of the masses. I mean, don't you think it could be hijacked if it gets prolonged?
Let me say to you, he never said a warning strike. They gave it publicity, wide publicity of strike has started, war has started, as the impression. You see, they can only justify it by saying, looking for the sympathy of the public to say, we are fighting for you. They want the sympathy of the airport workers. They want the sympathy so that they can lock down the country, so that the government can be at their mercy. That does not work in any nation. It does not work in any nation, especially with a new administration. When I became governor of Ekiti, I met so many challenges, and Labour said they will strike. I tried to explain. When they didn't hear explanation, I leave them, I put them in free. I didn't engage here for them. Because I'm not going to steal. You can only give what you have. And the strategy to get money, if it's put in place, will affect some people. There's no magic. I keep saying this. So they are saying that to get the sympathy of the public. So they know the reason why they are saying, inciting the public against the government, why they want that to happen. Not now. Not now. We need a solution now, not strike. Not strike. Everybody in this country must work together with the government of the day so that we can find solution. You understand? So one thing that I noticed why they went back is because they had that they have taken them to court for contempt. Let me be very honest with you. Because if they've gone to court with contempt, when court says don't strike, you strike. Whatever comes, take it. They said they'll bring the whole Nigeria to the court. Let us see.
So do you think the strike would have been successful if there was no injunction?
No. There was an injunction, but they still went ahead to do the rally, which they did yesterday. That's what I'm saying. But there was a subsisting order of a court. So I think the federal government now went to court to say that we are going to take you by contempt for disobeying court order. You know, when you disobey court order, it's jail. And they will hold the executive to it. And maybe they know the implication was why they held back. So maybe I might be wrong.
So let's go back to the president's broadcast some days ago. President Tinubu says government has earmarked 100 billion naira to purchase 3,000 20-seater buses to provide affordable transportation. How far do you think this can go in, solving transportation challenges in the country?
You see, let us be realistic. You used the word palliative. You didn't say the permanent solution. This is palliative. The government can only do things to make life easy for the people, other than not doing at all. So the reality is that when you give palliative, it allows everybody, both the government and the people, to adjust to the realities. That's the truth. So as it is now, the president says there are two things to transportation: the vehicle and the maintenance. And the inputs like petrol, diesel. So when you bring in buses, they will give them those, they may subsidize how they give the buses to drivers' unions. They will subsidize a number of public ones handled by government. They will subsidize it, which will now say if I'm taking a taxi for 400, I can now take it for 200. So in a space of about 2-3 years, it will get better. Government cannot be giving all of us cash to enter transport. That is the only thing they can do. They can take responsibility of maybe 25 or 30% of you to travel on the rail and give directive to the corporation to say, okay, please reduce, like institutions that have hiked their fee for the students, we advise federal institutions to, for now, don't do that. Those are the things government can do. Government is government. I'm not saying we will still not ask questions at the appropriate time, but the time is, 2 months is too early for anybody to be saying what we are saying. That's my position.
All right. But how workable is the president's promise of 500 billion naira for all year-round farming on 500 hectares of land?
It's possible. The man has earmarked money for it. He only needs the right people in the right places to have them implemented. That's all. There are a lot of light modern equipment that can be brought from abroad to empower individuals. You know, making hips. In places like China now, they've done hips machine, which you can conveniently by yourself use a small machine to put your hips, even by yourself, not by hiring labor. It makes cultivation easier. Instead of using your cows and whatever, as an individual, processing machines are very, very small now, and they're doing the magic. And these are the things we don't have. When you have it, it gets better. Things that can readily make you sieve maize from the shaft. All things are possible, but the average man may not have power to purchase. Unfortunately, too, when they give it to some people, they would rather go and sell. It's common of Yoruba people. Even if they give them a house, they will go and sell the house to Igbo. They will be using one room inside the house. So the first thing is that we must change our attitude. The problem of Nigeria is attitude, not even all these things they are talking about. Our attitude must be right, reasonably patriotic, to be able to live right. When you see the way certain people are behaving on the street, in our highways, it will shock you because nobody is holding nobody to account. That's all. Another thing I you should do is to ensure that people are held to account. A lot of lives are daily wasted, even wasted more than Boko Haram and all that because of the attitude of our people.
So the president also said 125 billion naira will be allocated to the micro, small and medium-scale enterprises and the informal sector, which are the drivers of economic growth. How feasible is this as well?
It's possible. Everything is. A car can go at a reasonable speed and you'll be comfortable. When they're not in the hands of mad handlers, when they're in the hands, good hands, and technologically driven to make sure that the person who is supposed to be the beneficiary of such gets the things, and there's a feedback mechanism. These things works. And the attitude thing, you must equally ensure there will be consequences for people that will mess up with that project. Sometimes it's not about the president, it's the people around him. He must be courageous enough, like, in my opinion, put the people, I'm not saying put me, oh, no. I don't even want something that can close my mouth, oh. If I need anything, I am a former governor, I have reach, I will tell people this. But let us talk about Nigeria. Asiwaju must recall that Cabal destroyed Buhari's government more. Cabal. In fact, most of the cabals almost touched him, almost got to him, if not for God, who has made it possible for him to be where he is today. So we should learn from the past. Governing Nigeria is not easy. It's not like Lagos State. It's not like Ekiti. You should continue to make sure Nigeria stays together, but the men you have put in place must be held to account.
All right. So considering the monumental failure recorded by the Anchors Borrowers program, what do you think can be done to ensure that allocation to, small businesses does not suffer the same fate?
I just said it to you. He should look for men. He has men. He has reach across the country. Asiwaju should look for men of integrity who will not mess him up. Deploy technology to make them accountable. Point of implementation is where we have problems in this country. That's the attitude. The moment he made scapegoat of certain people, others will sit up. It is my view that God will grant him wisdom and help him to see men that will work with him without messing him up.
So that will lead me to my next question, and strictly talking about full effective implementation. The president said the federal government is working closely with states and local governments to implement intervention for citizens. How do you advise him to go about this?
You see, the moment we do governance, we don't do party, we'll achieve it. Let him not be carried away, but it is APC members that must do it. Let it be qualified technocrats. Yes, I'm not saying party members where necessary should not work, but I'm saying for an average Nigerian now, who is no more a PDP or APC, who is looking up to Asiwaju as a president, he must engage them and look for men among men to do the needful for him. Because sometimes it is possible to pour water on your head and don't sit on the ground, though. Except it determines. And there must be a way to screen people. They must have this committee, like the World Bank, when they will award contracts, they will follow due process. When due process gets involved, the right people by 80% will get the right things done. You can't tell me if I don't have what it takes, I should come and lead that program. No. It's not a political program. It's the people's program, and they must leave it like that.
So we've talked about effective implementation. I would like us to now talk about transparency. I mean, some analysts say there is need for transparency to ensure the success of these plans highlighted by the federal government. How do you think government can ensure this is not compromised by corrupt elements?
I just said that already. I talked about attitude. I talked about the right people, not leaving everything in the hands of politicians. Ensuring...
Is that realistic?
No, I'm not saying leaving everything. I'm not saying politicians should not be part of the process. There are technocrats who doesn't know you or know me as a member of any political party. You must bring in other members of other political parties into it because it's about Nigerians. People APC cannot reach, PDP can reach it, Labour can reach them. There are good heads. I don't want to, please, let's get that very clear. They should reach out. Some will say we are not doing. Anyone who wants to work with you, work with them, especially when they have what it takes. I know a few individuals in this country who are good brains. We have gone past politics. This guy, what is his name? Omotoba, former Minister of Aviation, is a good brain. He's from Ekiti. Another person is this guy from Anambra, this former Marshal from Anambra. What's his name again? Osita is good brain, has brain. Asiwaju needs to look for these people. Ask them questions. Because I'm not here to market anybody. Nobody is feeding me. I'm a former governor. Reasonably, I'm okay. But when we see materials, we must be courageous enough to tell you, Osita has brain. Omotoba, former Minister of Aviation, has brain. And a number of them, you know, when they gave this man, opportunity, he turned around agriculture. This man now at the... Additional. But nobody will go and look for an additional if you didn't give him opportunity. Yes. So I am saying that such people, they might be like Osita is in PDP. It matters not because it's the service of our country. If you call him and say cannot work, fine. You don't have to. If he has ideas, invite them. If they have ideas, make use of their ideas. That's just my own take. Forget about, I'm in NTA, I am in YPP. My sister, a lot of people in other political parties will add value to this man.
So talking about some gains that have been recorded as a result of the removal of petrol subsidy, I mean, the president said the federal government has been able to save 1 trillion naira in 2 months.
Possible.
How impressed are you?
Very happy. Very, very happy. You know what I'm saying to you? A few people, you know, when the former Senate President, Bukola Saraki, was there, they said in the floor of the Senate that Nigerians don't consume that much of liters of PMS that we claim to consume. But they bring bills to be paid by the federal government in the name of those number of liters. At the end of the day, they found out. But now, by their suspension or removal of this subsidy, it's easier to save money. Because we can't continue. The last administration was borrowing money to pay salary, to pay subsidy. How will they survive? How will a nation survive? So this courageous man should be given the opportunity to continue to do well.
Some Nigerians are calling for the arrest of the economic saboteurs mentioned by the president in his last speech. Do you support this idea?
You see, I have no objection. What I'm saying is that in the course of pointing fingers, the innocent should be excused. There should be no political victimization. There should be no reason to put people into trouble for whatever it is. So if they are looking for people who benefit wrongly from such dodgy ways, it must be a thorough investigation without political coloration.
All right, so which of the relief packages announced by the president do you consider the most critical for the country at this time?
They are all critical. Let me come back to this issue of somebody who gets like 8,000, 10,000 monthly. Let me say to you, when I was governor of Ekiti, I was giving 5,000 naira to almost 2,000 people. At a point, we moved it to 3,000. Understand? It was, you see, when things are not easy, the list of money you imagine will not make a difference, will be making that difference. A woman has told me that every month that 5,000, I'm talking about issues about 6 years ago, each time that money drops in my account, I send it to my son in school. You understand? So for every situation, there's a reason to appreciate God and government.
So, Your Excellency, your friend, Governor Wike, has been nominated as a minister. Can we say he is still in the PDP?
Of course. Wike, listen, Bola Ige was Obasanjo's Minister of Justice. Didn't leave AD. We're talking about Nigeria. Wike is an asset. I just said it now. I didn't even mention Wike. I said there are other people in PDP, in YPP, in other political parties that can do great service to this country. I never knew you asked this question. Look, I am not going to tell you Wike is this, Wike is that. Wike is a hard work horse, an achiever, a man who says, I want to do this, you'll get results. He's not the only one like that, but the instance case, Wike is an asset to this government.
All right, so is former Governor Ayodele Fayose also still in the PDP?
I am in the PDP. PDP say they don't want me, I'm in my house. I don't care. You see, at this age, I've said to you, I'm not contesting. I'm not looking for anything. One thing I want to tell the PDP, go back and look for everybody. Go and look for everybody. People are fighting, are grieved for certain things that has happened by the handling of their future. But we can't abandon our party to go and join APC, or God forbid bad thing. I, Fayose, will never, by the grace of God, go and join PDP. No. Go and join APC. That you me.
So how would you assess the administration of Governor Biodun Oyebanji?
The governor of Ekiti. I've said it before, that is the best hand we have for now. Oyebanji is doing very, very well. You see, one of the things that the young man is doing is to look for all the leaders of the state. We didn't do most of that. Fayemi don't even do any. In terms of go and look for, Fayemi is an Englishman. I am an Ekiti man. Our ways are different. This man took part of Fayemi's way, took part of Fayose's way, took part of Adebayo's way, and forging ahead. He has chosen not to have any enemy. And I was in Ekiti for a function. I was in his car. He took me to see a few things. My sister, what I saw, I'm more than impressed. Oyebanji can't feed me. Oh. Me too, I have small change. Oh. I have small change. Ekiti does not have the resources to feed somebody like me. My mouth is wide. So, but when we see when somebody is doing well, I cannot hide it. Oh. If Oyebanji is doing well in an election, I will say go and vote for Oyebanji. Oh, Emi, me. If Oyebanji goes off track, I will come to this station and say that Oyebanji is very, very bad now. So far, so good. He's doing very, very well. I endorse him.
All right.
And I endorse his people.
So before I let you go, let me have your final message to Nigerians.
I've said more than the final message, and I will still talk another day. The good thing I want to say in Nigeria, don't let them drag you to the street for no reason. Don't let them drag you to the street for no reason. Actually, you just got there.
All right.
North, south, east, let us be patient. They said those things that are not enough are still going to become plenteous. There's no miracle worker. The man has just assumed office. And another thing I want to say, that reminds me. I follow the tribunal. And I follow comments. I want to tell everybody, including Asiwaju's camp, including Obi's camp, including Atiku's camp. All of you are saying you are the winner at the election. You have submitted to the jurisdiction of the court. You must be ready. Stop blackmailing the judiciary.
All right.
You must be ready to accept the outcome. If it doesn't go your way, then the judiciary is not good. So if it's Atiku they give, we will go back to the government house. If it's Obi, they will go there. If they don't give you two, you have to Bakamu.
All right. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Former Governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on Politics Tonight. Thank you, Your Excellency.